But greetings, my name is Will Moss. I'm the CEO of HBCU Connect. Super excited this evening or this afternoon, depending on where you're logged in from, to be presenting Amazon Alexa Shopping and Search and HBCU Connect and Blacks in Technology present How to Thrive in Tech. So this will be a live and interactive event. We're super excited. Please make sure to turn off your video and stay on mute for the first part of the event. And let's go ahead and get started. So what I like to do at our events is give you some context, a brief introduction of who I am, who is HBCU Connect, and why we do these events, and the opportunity for you. So a little bit about myself. Like I said, my name is Will Moss, CEO of HBCU Connect, the founder of HBCU Connect, went to Hampton University in Virginia, came out with a computer science degree and wanted to give back. So I launched hbcuconnect.com as a side project to my day job as a software engineer. And the site quickly grew, serving the needs of students and graduates as a social network, long time even before Facebook. And fast forward to today, we partner with lots of organizations like Amazon to present opportunities to you, right? So once you graduated from your HBCU, we're your advocate to help you stay relevant and to provide you with opportunities with great companies and organizations like Amazon Alexa Shopping and Search. Now, what is the relationship and kind of how do we wind up doing this event today? So we've had a partnership with Amazon for many years now, and please stay on mute if you would do me that favor. We partnered with Amazon for several years now. We've done plenty of in-person events with Amazon. We've done hiring events at Amazon locations, bringing in HBCU students from all over the country. Fast forward to COVID-19, we started to do these events virtually. And most recently, I partnered with the Amazon Alexa Shopping and Search team to present you with this opportunity to learn more about their particular organization in partnership with Blacks in Technology. So we're super excited about this opportunity for you today. And not only are you going to learn more about the particular hiring organization, but we're also going to talk about how to thrive in tech. But then as a result of this event, we're hopeful that you'll be excited about the opportunities that you're learning about, and then you'll take advantage and apply for some of those opportunities. And then some of you all will land interviews and then be hired. Okay, so quick recap of what we're going to do and what the agenda will be for this evening so that you all are aware and ready. My brief welcome, which I'm finishing up right now. I'm going to introduce you to our keynote speaker, who is Carla Vernon. And then we're going to have a panel discussion. I'm going to introduce you to some of the team members that have volunteered their time to give you some insight on their journey and their path, and then what part of Amazon they work on and what their teams do. And then we'll have a panel discussion. I'll ask some questions on your behalf to kind of give us a better idea of what it's like not only to work at Amazon, but to thrive in tech. All right, then we'll do some closing remarks and talk about next steps. And then I'm going to open up the breakout rooms. So you'll have the opportunity to ask those questions. And you guys may have noticed, I sent out an email and asked you all to prepare questions. So this will be your opportunity to ask some of those questions in the breakout room of your choice. So please be prepared for that. But without further ado, let me introduce our keynote, who is Carla Vernon, Vice President, Amazon Consumables Categories. So Carla, I've actually read over your bio, your background. I was super impressed, and I'm probably even more excited than our candidates to hear from you and your experiences. So in your own words, can you talk a little bit about who you are and what led you to Amazon?
Hi, everyone. Lovely to meet you. I think that the most important thing to say about who I am is that I hope that I'm exactly who I show up to be, and I'm exactly the authentic person that I set myself forward as. That's what I always really hope, because we're all multidimensional, right? I'm a corporate executive, I'm a mom of some people, I'm a sister girlfriend to a community of women that I love, I am a wife, I am a manager of a team of incredible leaders that I'm investing in and building. So I'm a lot of things, but what I really hold myself to at this stage in my life is to show up authentically the real deal, wherever you may find me. But that might not be specific enough. So let me tell you what I do on a day-to-day basis for a living at Amazon, because as you can see, I've been at Amazon for 2 years now. I tell people the work I do at Amazon is I send lots of the stuff to your house that I hope you buy on a frequent basis when you just run out of things. Because that's the categories that I lead. They're called consumables categories. And they're all the stuff that you run out of every once in a while. Sometimes on Amazon, we call them everyday essentials. They're things like food and snacks and candy, but also healthcare, your vitamins, your Band-Aids, your beauty products, baby diapers, the paper towels in your kitchen, all kinds of goodies that, like I said, if you run out of them every once in a while, I'm probably the person at Amazon whose team is finding them, sourcing them, sending them to you in those brown boxes and those envelopes that we love. So that's what I do for a living. I also, as everybody does at Amazon, have technology responsibilities in my job. That's what separates me from the people who do a similar job at Walmart or Target. I not only have the categories, but I'm in charge of the technology for how you experience my categories on the app. So that's been really an exciting journey for me because I was not always a woman in tech. I was not always an Afro-Latina in tech. Now, for real, I really am. So that's what I do for a living. And I know we'll get a little bit more into my, personal interests and the challenges and the ups and the downs as we keep the conversation going.
Absolutely. So this is a question that I love, that was very interesting to me, considering your background, your experience. I'm sure you had many options on where you might go with your career, but what made you choose Amazon at this point in your career?
Thank you for asking that. I worked for quite a long time at a different company. So for those of you that don't know me, I worked at General Mills for 23 years. And that was really fun because working at a food company, you get to work on something that everyone can relate to. We were in charge of Cheerios and Nature Valley granola bars and Lara Bar and Yoplait yogurt and all Annie's mac and cheese, all kinds of fun stuff. And that was an exciting career because I was working on something that's important to people on an everyday basis. After 23 years of being at General Mills, I had done almost all of those businesses at least once and some of them twice. So there came an opportunity when I was leading the natural and organic businesses. That's the last role I had at General Mills. I was the president of a division, which meant that I was responsible for all the brands and all of the functions that are required to get those foods developed, created, packaged, shipped, invented, and to you, and make sure we did all of that profitably and while growing. So I was running that business for 3 years. It was very exciting. Running the natural and organic food business was kind of like being on the cutting edge of food. That's sort of the most modern and transformational place in the food industry right now. But at a point, my company made a decision that they wanted to take those businesses and tuck them back under the traditional businesses. That to me was, sometimes you get these messages from the universe. That was the most fun job I ever had. And when they decided to change the job and turn it more traditional, I said, you know what? I'm going to use this as a chance for the universe to bring me on a new adventure. So I actually left General Mills with no plan of going back to work. I was going to work on a leadership book and a podcast. Everybody's got a podcast, I feel like. I don't have one, but I was working on it. And it was a wonderful time for me to take a pause. It turned out that there were greater plans, I think, for me to be at home because I live in Minneapolis, Minnesota, which means that about 2 years ago, when the murder of George Floyd happened here, I was not working for a company, but I was raising teenagers. My husband and I are raising teenagers. And so I could be available and focus on them during that really sensitive time. But being on pause during a really important cultural time like that, I kept getting some instincts in my gut that I maybe had another chapter in another gear and wanted to find a place where I thought that my talents and my treasures could really be optimized and where I could work for people who I believed we're ready to do difficult things, including important diversity work. And that's when I met Amazon and met some of the leaders at Amazon. And really it was a two-way interrogation, but I believed them when they said that they wanted to continue to innovate the store, which is what I love, because I love all these kind of products. And when they said they want to innovate the company and our approach to employment and equity. So I kind of decided to accept them at their word and join this adventure 2 years ago.
Awesome. Awesome. So that kind of leads into my next question and tying that into our audience for today's event. So as a Black and Latina senior woman executive, what advice can you offer our attendees around how they can thrive in their career in tech?
I probably could get some advice from you all as well, but let me take my turn first. And then if you have some advice for me, give it to me. I would like it. I think the way we can all thrive, first of all, is to remember that while we carry a lot on our shoulders, and we carry a lot any room we walk into, even if it's a virtual room, we bring a lot of people with us. We bring a lot of experiences with us when we walk into a room. And so I never forget that. But that also means that we have to, one, take care of ourselves and understand what our limits are, understand when we need to recharge to be ready to be energized again for this massive work that we do, this change-making work and this change agent work that we do just by walking into a room. And we also have to make sure we have a strong community, people who are there for us just because they're there for us, right? Who is your personal board of directors? Who are your people? Who is that go-to on the day where you just need 5 minutes and you're like texting and DMing somebody and saying, do you have a minute? Because something's going on today and I need some help to just get the oxygen back in my lungs again. So I think to thrive in tech spaces or any spaces where we're among the few, a really important thing is to always remember that you must protect your energy for the whole journey because there is a lot of work ahead.
Awesome, awesome. So I know we've got a couple more minutes left, and I want our candidates to get the most of this sort of FaceTime with you and this engagement where they're being introduced to you as a woman in tech. So my sister in the corner office, can you talk a little bit more about your presence on social media and how folks can connect with you there?
Oh, I'd love to. Thank you for giving me that chance, Will. One of the things that I realized when we all went into this whole, this is my Amazon headquarters, right? I live in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and this is my office, and these are my coworkers. And I was really missing that human connection. I've been active on social media for a long time. You can find me on almost all the spaces. My handle is always at Carla Inspired. I'll put it in the chat on my way out. But I'm on Twitter, I'm on TikTok. I'm just tiptoeing my way on TikTok. I'm on Instagram, I'm on LinkedIn. And I try to be, again, I try to show up as myself. But one of the things I realized that if I was missing some of that community, then there was, I suspected, a whole generation of people also missing the community that we sometimes used to find in that physical workplace. And one of the important members of our community that always is there to help us on our journey is that mentor or sponsor that will give you the real talk and the real, sometimes tough love. I have a mentor of mine who was 10 years ahead in her career. I used to call her the Velvet Hammer. I still call her the Velvet Hammer. Somehow she could really be firm, but you didn't even know it happened almost. So I started to create a voice for myself to try to speak to you all, to try to speak to the folks who might be missing their mentor or their champion or their trusted sister in the corner office. And every once in a while I get out there and I post some real talk that I hope is life advice and corporate advice that you will find helpful. You can find some of the old posts on my LinkedIn. I go into more detail in LinkedIn and sometimes on Instagram. So if you see a post where it's hashtag your Sitco, Sitco is my abbreviation for Sister in the Corner Office. You can find them all on Carla Inspired. I have things like my most recent post where I said, you can do hard things. Sometimes you just need someone to remind you You can do hard things. You've done them before. And guess what? You killed it. So you can do it again.
Awesome, awesome, Carla. So let me give you one last rapid fire question because I'm curious to know the answer to this one as well, considering all of the changes that happened with the pandemic. And wow, I imagine your particular business exploded right during the pandemic because that's when I got introduced to your particular products and services at Amazon and took advantage. So with that explosion, I'm sure it had to have come up. How do you keep work-life balance? So if you want to just drop a quick nugget of insight on work-life harmony and how you achieve that in your role.
Yeah, we are trying to invent some new practices on my team, I will say. I think the great thing about this era right now in corporate America is throw away all the old books. Any kind of old book you have on how to best build a team, work a team, do a team, work-life balance, it's kind of like it's a new game. It's an opportunity for everybody to be a subject matter expert. So one of the things I would say is make sure you check in with other leaders you admire and ask this question, not just when you're in these panels. One, I'm doing a few things. One of the things I'm doing is I actually make sure that I use the function on my email with delayed send, and that I don't send emails that my team will receive over a weekend or after a certain time of night, that I delay that and batch those to send during proper work hours. Now that might mean you're gonna get a lot of emails from Carla at 9 a.m. in the morning on a Tuesday. But it sends the important signal. And another thing that I've done is I've just reintroduced myself to my Peloton bike. And we fell out of favor for a couple of months there when I was in a busy cycle. But I said, let's get to know each other again. We're going to start out slow because, as my husband gave me this best advice, he said, the doctors are kept in business by the weekend warrior who's trying to go too fast, getting back up that fitness curve. So we've reintroduced ourselves, and I keep those tear sheets, those 3M Post-it pads that we used to have when we would be in conference rooms brainstorming, those big sticky papers. So I took went to the Office Max or whatever, got one of those, and I got those fun markers that smell like lemon and grape and all that stuff because I just, wanted to have fun. And I wrote 11 reasons why I show up to this bike. And they are everything from to listen to great music, to meet up with friends because I can high five people when I'm on that bike, and a whole bunch of other stuff, health is wealth, whatever it is. And I put that in eye view when I show up on that bike to remind me in the morning that that space is an important part of me being a great leader in corporate America, is that I make the room to deal with the stress and keep my mind energized and powerful for myself. So I think, listen, let's be honest, work and life are blending in this day and age. So I encourage you to claim yourself for yourself. That's the most powerful work-life balance tip. You got to claim it in your own way. Claim you for you.
Awesome. So Carla, let me thank you for being our keynote and sharing your insight, your advice, and your story with our candidates. So to our candidates, if you'd like to drop a question, comment, or just thank Carla for taking the time out to share her advice, please drop those comments in the chat. But Carla, let me thank you again. And if you'd like to stick around and take a look at the chat or engage in the chat, you'll feel free to do that. But to our candidates, if you'd like to engage with Carla or follow Carla on social media, look for @CarlaInspired. All right, so without further ado, let me go ahead and introduce our panelists for the evening. So I'm going to start from right to left. So Tiago, if you're ready, I'd like to introduce you first. So we have Tiago Wright, who's Principal Product Manager within Amazon Alexa Shopping. So Tiago, you could introduce yourself and talk a little bit about who you are, maybe outside of Amazon, and then leading into who you are in Amazon.
Awesome. Will, thanks. Thanks for the intro, and thanks, Carla, for awesome, inspiring words as well. So I'm Tiago. I've been with Amazon for 10 years now, and my role now is I'm a technical advisor to the Vice President of Alexa Shopping. And I'm also managing a brand new team. We're spinning up a new little organization to innovate, create new features for Alexa, for customers to use with Alexa, and using machine learning and AI. Outside of work, I am also a dad to a few people, like Carla said. That was a great way to put it. And I'm married. I have 2 daughters, and I'm also an immigrant. I grew up in Brazil, and I migrated to the U.S. when I came here for college. And it's been a wild ride. And then my hobbies are I love riding my bike as fast as I can. So I do ride the Peloton just to practice, because my goal is to go fast on a bike. And I also like building computer keyboards on my free time. So those are my 2 hobbies.
Interesting.
So nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. And so just a couple of follow-up questions. So how did you get your foot in the door at Amazon?
So it was actually I was doing my MBA, and Amazon came on campus to recruit, and I did not get an interview slot with Amazon, but they had at my school, they had this system where you could get 1,000 points and bid that on an interview slot. So I put 1,000 points on Amazon and I won the bid. And I got through the interview, and I got an offer. And then as I was considering my offers, I got a call from a manager here who told me that Amazon was going to come to Brazil for the first time. And we were, going to launch the ebook business and the e-reader business in Brazil. And would I want to come over and do that? So I thought that was very exciting opportunity. I grew up in Brazil, and books, and always passionate about reading and books, but they're very, very expensive, hard to find. And it was very rare that I could, drive about 2 hours to go to a bookstore. So when they said we're going to go and bring ebooks to Brazil, I just had to jump on that chance.
Awesome. And so just for context, you can talk a little bit about what your team does in the grand scheme of things within Amazon Alexa shopping and search.
Yeah, so Alexa shopping, it's basically, if you think about, so Alexa is a very, very large organization, actually many organizations, and we build features to make the Alexa AI better. So when you talk to your Echo device or use one of the apps that has Alexa in it, it's our job to make Alexa give you a great experience. I built a few different features. The biggest one was question and answers for products. So if you ask Alexa a question about something you can buy in a store, it could be something you buy on Amazon, it could be something you buy at Trader Joe's. Alexa should be great at giving you helpful answers. And so my team was responsible for answering those questions, making Alexa smart enough as an AI to be able to understand your question, you ask that, and find the answers for you.
Awesome. So thank you, Tiago, for being one of our panelists. We'll circle back with some more questions as we introduce the rest of our team. Okay, so now let me introduce Juan Huerta, the Senior Science Manager within Amazon Search. So Juan, if you're ready.
Yeah, can you see me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, oh, great. I can see myself now. Hey, how are you? Thank you for inviting me. So an intro. I joined Amazon 3 years ago. So I've been in Amazon for 3 years. I'm originally from Mexico. And so the team that I lead here at Amazon, right, is a combination of engineers and scientists. And what we do is we build what we call pre-trained, or what is called pre-trained neural networks, deep learning networks, which essentially we're trying to represent essentially a domain by introducing a very large amount of data and having these universal models to be able to apply them in different domains across Amazon. I'm getting a little bit of echo. Is that? Can you guys hear me? Okay.
Yeah, I think we're good now.
Okay, so my team is really, essentially we're trying to build this kind of like AI models based on neural networks. They are very large models, so they require a lot of data, and they're very good at learning about the domain, right? So you probably have seen outside, right, in the read about these models that Google is creating and Facebook is creating and other organizations are creating, and many of them are used to build those chatbots that start to become controversial in how advanced and sophisticated they are. Some other you might have read about other models that are very good at creating images based on some text description. So that's the kind of model that we're building in the sense of the size of them and their capacity. But what we really want them for is for you to use them in again in Amazon domains, right? Like better be able to make predictions on what is useful to our customers. How can we be better again serving our customers? And yeah, I mean that's the vision, right? To again develop these AI type of models, right, on applications. So outside Amazon, I'm also a dad. I have 2 kids. I'm originally from Mexico, as I said, and my hobbies are I also like riding my bicycle. It's a road bicycle, so I enjoy riding it, long rides on the weekends and whenever I can on weekdays. I live in New York, in the New York area, so it's hard to ride a bicycle in the winter. So I have to enjoy the summer and spring and fall as much as I can. And I also like music. I play piano, and with my kids, I try to convince them to play with me together, right, and make duets whenever we have a chance. Yeah, that's my hobby.
Awesome. So I think you answered all of my questions except for just one. So how did you get your foot in the door at Amazon?
Yeah, that's so the way I got was I was an experienced candidate, right? So I went through graduate school, and then I work at IBM, as a in another tech company, right, in a very highly tech oriented environment and job. And after a while at IBM, I decided to switch to other other industries, right? So I did a little bit of finance. I went through different companies, exploring and learning. That was very exciting. So after a while I had a lot of experience, right? So I was an experienced candidate. There was an event at Amazon that Amazon hosted in one conference for experienced candidates. I went there. I figured it should be super interesting. And the team that organized it was the supply chain team. So they gave this kind of like presentation on where Amazon is very data driven in terms of how we do supply chain, and it was super interesting, right? It completely left me very impressed. So the rest is history, right? After that event, I said, well, I really want to try. I went through the application process, and yeah, and that's how I joined Amazon.
Awesome. So Juan, let me thank you for being one of our panelists.
Yeah,
We'll circle back with some additional questions once I've introduced our last panelist on the list. So thank you, Juan. So our next and final panelist that'll participate with us and answer some questions is Corliss Collier, Head of Product Management within Amazon Alexa Shopping. So Corliss, if you're ready, if you could give us a little background on who you are sort of outside of Amazon and then who you are within Amazon.
Well, thank you, Will, for having us, and thank you, Carla, for those wonderful nuggets. As you guys, HBCU Connect, I am a proud HBCU graduate for undergrad. I graduated from Spelman College.
Awesome.
And outside of work, you guys, I am a mother as well of an HBCU freshman this year, Spelman College. Where else would she be? And I'm an avid bike rider. I've seen like there's a theme here as well. That's how I burn my energy, is my Peloton and I have a good time together. Keeps the juices flowing and the thoughts rolling. And I lead the Alexa product management team for Alexa Shopping for your proactive experiences. And you asked another question, Will. Please tell me more about that. I'll answer your questions.
Yeah, and that was just sort of who you are within Amazon, a little context around your role and then your team's role within Amazon.
Yeah, so let me tell you about my role and what my team does. So who I am also outside of work is I am an avid shoe junkie. I love shoes, heels, the higher the better, sneakers, the flyer the better. And as well as another theme here, I am also an immigrant. I moved to the US when it was to go to undergrad, from originally from Germany. I feel like shoes can fix anything. If you have the right shoes on, you can conquer anything. So it just depends on what you have to do. So my team is responsible for using, as you guys see a theme here across Alexa, and the AI and the machine learning portion of that is to help customers proactively engage with them and take them through their shopping journeys. So the less you notice us, the better the job that my team is doing. As we help you shop as you're looking for things, whether it be you're looking to buy a new set of tires for your car, find out when the new Nikes are going to drop, or the new sneakers or the new Supremes are going to drop, or if you want to find out how to just keep your paper towels in stock, coming from Carla's team. But if you're working through Alexa, that is my team's job. And like I say, the least you notice us, the better the job that we're doing. So we engage with you through whether if you're using your Alexa application and you have pop-ups there, if you have little floating messages when you're checking out, that's my team. If you receive emails and those type of things, and you think you've looked at something and you'll receive an email that kind of asks you to come back and complete that journey, that's my team. Those are the things that we do. So we're working on how to help our feature groups kind of really engage with you and help take you through that journey and make it as seamless as possible every day. Mm-hmm.
So I think some of the things that you said are resonating with the audience. I'm seeing icons for shoes and shout outs to Spellman. But let me ask, before we go into our panel discussion, let me ask you one more question, and that is, how did you get your foot in the door there at Amazon?
Much like my story is much like Carla, I had a very full career prior to joining Amazon. About, I don't want to admit the years, but not a little bit, but a lot of years prior to joining. And then say, I guess it was maybe about end of 2019, I decided to slow down. I wanted to take a role where I wasn't traveling. Prior to Amazon, I worked I'm an applied scientist. So I had like a 20-year career prior as applied scientist, writing code, models, and different natures. And I moved to product. And I needed to slow down just really to kind of, for lack of better terms, I was going to bug my daughter until she graduated. I needed to be home. It was hard parenting over FaceTime. And I wanted to bug her until she graduated and get on her nerves, and then just to spend them last few years with my mini. So I kind of slowed down and just kind of started thinking about what am I going to do next. And I had some recruiters and some events who had reached out to me from Amazon, but you get a lot of those emails and messages over LinkedIn. So if you guys ever receive those over LinkedIn, they're real. They are very real. I didn't go to an event and I didn't believe them. I thought it was kind of spam or things of that nature. So actually what closed it for me was I had the hiring manager who I actually first joined Amazon working for, who reached out, and we had a really great conversation. And we just hit it off. That is one of the beautiful things about Amazon and about Alexa, is that we work with some really amazing people. And I just kind of felt like I met a friend. And so that's kind of what pulled me into working for Amazon. Mm-hmm.
Awesome, awesome. So what I'm going to do next, we've got about 10 minutes before we're going to transition into our breakout. So I want to do some rapid fire questions to the panel. So Corliss, Juan, Tiago, if you'd like to come back on video, I'm going to take down my slides and we're just going to have a quick conversation. So I have some questions that I prepared. And like I said, I would love to get some rapid fire answers, considering we have about 10 minutes. So let me add to the spotlight here. And is Juan, let me add Juan to the spotlight. Okay, there we go. All right, so my first question, and then we'll kind of round robin for your answers. But with the pandemic and shift to work from home and hybrid work, how have you continued to thrive in your career and your responsibilities at work? So I'll default this one to Tiago first, and then if Juan and Corliss want to add in as well.
Yeah, I think my career has continued to grow, and I don't think we slowed down. I don't think Amazon slowed down. The company has changed in that everything went online, right? And so the culture, I think, has shifted a bit into doing things over Zoom, and but we're not slowing down. In fact, because of COVID, I think you saw that Amazon actually had to accelerate some of a lot of what we're doing. For me personally, it was I've done already 2 job changes, taking on more responsibilities each time, and it's worked out pretty well. It's also given me a lot of flexibility to work from home and spend more time with my family, manage my work-life balance better. I think one of the things that's really helped us is this, this narrative culture. Using writing is kind of a blessing here, because when we write these narratives to make big decisions, it's actually pretty conducive to reading them online, and then getting together on a Zoom call to discuss a decision. And I think that has worked out really in favor of keeping our velocity high and keeping us driving innovation for our customers. So
awesome. So Corliss or Juan, would you like to add anything related to how the pandemic and shift to work from home and hybrid, how you continue to excel in your careers?
I can add from that. I would say it's no different. Location is just a state. It's just really setting goals, and meeting and reaching out when you need the help and reaching those. So have milestones. Like I say, I'm a scientist from background, so I'm always going to have milestones, measurements, and those type of things. So you set those and go. I've been at Amazon 2 years, and I'm on my 3rd role. So it's just really like, set out what you want to do. And I think Carla told you guys, and that's something I use, have a really, really, really good board of directors. And I'm not talking about your yes men. I'm talking about those who will tell you when you say something crazy. I know I've been in meetings before, and Tiago looks at me like, no, that's not it. But you got to have your board of directors as well. And the people who you can text when you're doing great and who are going to celebrate with you and do the dance with you. And also those people who are going to sit there and be like, nah, they're gonna pull you back real fast. And then sometimes, being a Spelman alum, AUC alumni in Atlanta, you also need that board of directors sometimes who's gonna help you. What's that song? Knuck if you buck when you need to. You need all those things. You need that good rounded out. So I say really just set those goals, set those milestones, and also be realistic. And then keep learning. I am a lifetime learner. I got that from my father. Whenever I get bored, it's like I go get another certification or another degree. Just keep learning.
Yeah. Awesome. So let me shift to another question, and I'll shoot this one to Juan to answer. And that is, what were some key moments within your career or within your life that led you to the leadership role that you hold today?
Yeah. So I think that there were, I guess, 3 moments, right, that define the trajectory, especially the key pivotal moments, I guess. So the first one was graduate school. I think, a lot of, making the decision of going to graduate school, doing research in a specific area, that definitely set me in certain trajectory of the technical trajectory, what I was going to focus on. The second one was in the early phase of my career, right, doing the decision of joining and continuing the depth, right, on the technical depth, right, continue, working as a scientist in a technical lab, and for a period of years. That was kind of like the second the decisive moment. And the third decisive moment, actually, which was actually, I think in hindsight, the hardest, was decide when to make a change, right? When to shift and say, hey, this is great, but I think, I'm not going to continue my life being a research scientist for IBM. I actually want to become a data scientist, right? And that actually was risky because, moving to a bank, right, changing industries, changing technology, right? That was, I think in hindsight, scary and risky, but it was kind of like, again, deciding when, change the path. And I think those were kind of like the 3 pivotal moments.
Awesome. So for the sake of time, so we've got about 4 minutes left before we're going to shift over to next steps into our breakouts. So I do want to get in a couple more questions. So I'll shoot this next question back to Tiago or Corliss. So the next question I have is, what is, and this goes with our theme of thriving in tech, right? So what is one thing you wish you knew before you started your career in tech? So I'll default this one to Tiago or Corliss if you have something.
You want to go first, Corliss, or should
Sure.
I? Go ahead.
Sure, I'll start. I would say that when starting a career in tech, don't automatically just think like the big 3 organizations or the big 4 organizations. And when you really sit back and look at where the world is moving and where we are, you just heard Juan mention in banking and other places, tech exists in many companies. As you see, Carla, although she came from General Mills, you think it's a box of cereal. What is that? Or it's just bars. But tech exists in many organizations and many companies. So I would say look in some of those non-traditional places as well. Of course, we at Amazon, we would love to have you, especially in the Alexa organization. But like, don't let just chasing those companies also deter you from starting your career in tech and getting that experience there.
Awesome advice.
Mhm.
Tiago,
Tiago?
did you want to add?
Yeah, that sounds really good advice, and I do want to say, you know, we love to have you here, but that's not the only place. The two things that came to my mind is one is you know, chasing my passions. I would have told myself, you know, don't spend time on things you're not excited about and passionate about, because if you work on something you're passionate about, you'll eventually be really good at it.
Mhm.
And so, you know, find something that you wake up in the morning and feel like, I want to go do this. You know, I can't wait to get to work on that. And then the other thing I would say is I always try to find work where if you succeed, it's going to be awesome. You know, it's going to have a big impact. And take the kind of risk that has like maybe a small downside, and you're going to invest your time into a job, but a big upside. You know, if it works out, it's going to, and then you can figure out what that means for you. For me, it's building things that millions of customers like to use every day is what gets me excited. You know, this combination of AI, machine learning, and new customer experiences. And so if we succeed at what we're doing, it's gonna be great for millions of people. That's what gets me going.
Awesome. So we got about 1 minute left before I want to transition. So I'm going to ask this last question, and if you guys can give me your rapid fire answers, that would be awesome. So I'll circle back to Juan for this one. So how have you achieved work-life harmony in your current role, and if so, how?
I think, yeah, I mean, by adaptation, right? Like, because, you know, right now, for example, again, I'm on the East Coast, lots of people on the West Coast. So there's a 3-hour difference, but, you know, the work-life balance, I think is due to COVID, due to some people working remotely, a distributed team, is just about adaptation, right? But yeah, I think I'm pretty happy.
Awesome. Tiago.
Yeah, I'm as happy as I've ever been in my life, and I think the harmony comes from.
That's what I'm trying to.
If everyone could
Oh, it
just
says
stay
I
on
can
mute.
join them, but I don't know that I want to do that.
If everyone could do me a favor and stay on mute, please. Thank you.
I think Carla tried to talk a little bit about that, but it's for me, it's this balance. It's about protecting, you know, identifying what are those boundaries and really protecting the time that you need to spend with your family and the time you need to spend on yourself. You know, in my case, it's riding my bike. It seems like everyone here likes to ride their bikes,
Mhm.
right? And then I also save, you know, I make sure I have dinner with my kids and put them to bed every night. I also make sure to get them out the door in the morning, and I protect that time in my calendar, you know, and it's discipline and it's everyday work to make sure to prioritize those things that really are important. And I actually think it gets worse, meaning harder to do it as you get more and more senior. And so, you know, hearing that from Carla and knowing other VPs and having worked very closely with a few on how they protect their own time, it only gets harder. So it's a great skill set to practice early and often, is just protect the time you need and create that work-life harmony for yourself.
And Corliss, I'll give you the last word before we jump into our breakouts.
I would say, yes, I think I'm happy, and I am ruthless with my calendar. Like Tiago says, I protect my calendar. Small things, small things. Even, you know, things that make me happy is having my nails painted. So even if I have to block an extended lunch to go get my nails done, I have to be ruthless with my time, because as Juan said, the three of us we have global team. So I could be talking to someone, and part of my team is in London, the other part's in Tel Aviv. So we don't work traditional hours. So I am very ruthless with my calendar, and I have a reason for every meeting. I also, when I ask people for meetings, I'm very thorough. If I can get it done in an email, I try to, because you have to. And then I protect my time. And another thing I do is for my team, once a month, I pick a random day that I call your wellness day. Your only thing to do that day is send me a picture of what you're doing that's not work. And that's, just kind of a little, just a protection. And you got to figure out what's important for you, because let's be honest, we all work for a publicly traded company. If I burn out today, they'll send me a card, pat me on my back, and post my job tomorrow.
Right, right.
So I have to take care of myself,
Yep.
I have to take care of myself and my family.
Awesome. So Corliss, Tiago, Juan, thank you for being our panelists. And then
Thank
also I'm
you.
going to thank you in advance for working our breakout rooms, which I'm going to go into shortly. But before we do that, so once we go into the breakout sessions, you guys are not going to come back to the main session like to close out. You're just going to head out once we close out the breakout session. So before we go into the breakout sessions, I want to talk about next steps. We will send this out via email, so you don't have to worry about trying to scribble this down real fast. We will email you this information, but if you're interested in applying, we have a couple of different links, one for Amazon Alexa shopping and one for search. So we'll send you those links so you can proactively go and apply. And then there's also an email address that Amazon has graciously set up for you to follow up if you have questions. And I would recommend that if you're really interested in the opportunities and you go off and you apply for those opportunities, follow up after you apply, just to let them know and give them the heads up. Now, the other thing that we're going to do is we're going to take your resumes that you've sent to us. We're going to share your resumes with the team there at Amazon Alexa Shopping and Search. So there is also going to be the opportunity that they could potentially reach out to you for follow-up conversations, maybe phone screens or interviews that could happen that way as well. Now, if you're in the Virginia Beach area or that Hampton Roads area, we're also having a live event that'll happen right after this. So if you want to head to the We Care Cafe on 4676 Princess Anne Road, Suite 270 there in Virginia Beach, definitely go check that out. And thanks to Blacks in Technology for setting that up. Okay, so now let's talk about the breakout room. So this is going to be your opportunity. So for all of you guys that came ready and dressed to impress, and you've got your webcam on and you're in a quiet place ready to ask questions, this is going to be your opportunity to do that and engage. My biggest ask of you is to be considerate of others. So if you do want to ask a question, try to make that question succinct and to the point so that you can get a quick answer, not only for your behalf, but for the behalf of everyone else in the room. But we don't want folks to jump on and hog up the time and tell their life story in the form of a question. So, but this is your opportunity, so please be polite to others. Now, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to open up the breakout rooms, which I'm going to do right now, but don't run to them that fast. But I'm going to open the rooms up now. Now, within Zoom, there's an icon or a button within Zoom that you can click on that says breakout rooms, and then you can select the appropriate room. And we have 3 rooms, and I see some people jumping into the rooms already. We have 3 rooms set up, one for product and program management with Corliss. We have one for data science and AI or ML with Juan. And then we have one for software development with Tiago. So like I said, please be polite. The other thing I'm going to ask that you do within Zoom, there's something called reactions. So there's an option you can click on, and it's called reactions. And that will give you the ability to raise your hand. So if you look at my video feed, you can see I have my hand raised. And then the folks in each room can then call on you. So basically, if it's Tiago or Juan or Corliss, they can call on you to ask your question. And to our Amazon folks, if you'd like to just start off the conversation once you go in the room with maybe a little bit of more of a deep dive into your team and how your team is growing, the types of folks you're hiring in your team, I think that will start the conversation off great.